to the decision to expel Alistair Campbell, the right or the wrong thing to do?
I mean, Alistair Campbell, Labour to his fingertips, he's given many years of his life of service to the party. If I'd spoken to him before Thursday, I'd have said, don't do it. Why vote Lib Dem, Alistair? They're the people responsible for austerity. We're in year, 8, 9 of this. That's what caused the referendum result. Don't let them off the hook for that. Don't punish our brilliant Labour MEPs who've been very pro-people's vote, which Alistair is, which I am. But, you know, it's done now. The sequencing of it was actually after the polls had closed. I think really we should forgive and forget. All parties are broad churches, aren't they? And I think we should express forgiveness.
Were you surprised at the speed of that decision? Several people pointing out that it was done very quickly in comparison to some other complaints that have been made to the Labour Party.
Yes, I mean, it looks very much like summary justice, doesn't it? Which is rapid, but not necessarily accurate or correct, or, you know, so it does feel it was done with indecent haste compared to people like Ken Livingstone, who was suspended for years and years, it felt like, and also a complete expulsion rather than a suspension. You know, due process has to be done, and so I was a bit surprised at this, and it seems to have backfired, really, because now there's a hashtag #ExpelMeToo that's trending, so I think it seems to have been done a bit rashly and it's been counterproductive.
So it very much sounds, I mean, let's not tiptoe about it. You think Jeremy Corbyn or whoever is at the top of that decision on the NEC has made the wrong decision?
I mean, look, yeah, Alistair Campbell was not alone, was he, in this? I've got Labour Party members who found that policy confusing to explain on the doorstep. I found it difficult to...
You'd admit it's confusing then?
I mean, it's not an easy sell on the doorstep when you're in someone's face and you've got a couple of seconds to say, can you support us on Thursday? And they say, what is your policy? It was, I mean, I can get the logic of it, but it's not clear and uncomplicated. It's not unambiguously, definitively one way or the other. So I think it ended up pissing off a lot of people. So I know Labour Party members locally who felt unable to come and campaign and ultimately unable to vote for us. So, I mean, given the circumstances, I think actually what Tom Watson said, that there should be clemency for people who did this. I mean, I understand rules is rules and there is a rule book and he's probably contravened subsection. I'm not a huge fan of rule books, but they should display suppleness as well.
However, Tom Watson's statement on amnesty has been picked up by people who I suppose would be classed as fervent supporters of Jeremy Corbyn as further evidence that it's undermining Mr Corbyn's leadership, and there is this big split emerging at the top of your party between those two men.
I mean, I don't know who directly was responsible for signing this off, but...
But would you admit there's a split between the two men here? And it runs deeper than just expelling Alistair Campbell. It is an issue surrounding the reason that Alistair Campbell said he voted Lib Dem, which was Labour's Brexit policy, which you've said is confusing.
I mean, Labour's Brexit policy, I can see the logic in it. It's a sort of sequential thing that has different stages, but there comes a time. So, you know, we did try for the customs union and close alignment to the single market option. Theresa May's lot was not going to budge. Looks like she'll be gone. We also wanted guarantees that it would be binding on any successor. We know now that she's on the way out. So, you know, our policy was to try for this other alternative, but then all options remain on the table. And there comes a time when you have to get off the fence, really.
And now is that time? And you obviously are basically saying second referendum.
Yeah, I mean, I think that mandate from 2016 is getting, with every day, very dated. And it's time to seek a fresh reassessment of the will of the people.
Even though you've just seen a good proportion of people back a party in the European elections that advocate a no-deal Brexit, they are fed up.
Well, I mean, these results can always be interpreted to prove whatever you want. So you could look at it in the way that it's 31% of the electorate, so that makes a whole whacking 70% who didn't, 69% who didn't vote for that party. And also the turnout was much lower than usual. It was the 30-something. So, I mean, it's not the resounding victory. In fact, if we can, usually European elections are seen as a bit of a midterm protest thing. 2014, UKIP finished in front, and it was David Cameron. You know, if we were doing a whole history of where did this all go wrong, he sort of placed a lot of significance on those. That's why we ended up having a referendum. So actually, if you compare it to the UKIP, people keep saying that this Brexit Party came out of nowhere. They didn't. It's the successor to UKIP. So it's a carryover from them, and I think it's a net gain of 4 seats from last time. So I would say they don't demonstrate at all that that's what people want. But I mean, why don't we ask people? Because as I say, it's a long time ago. And with any contract, you need to read the terms and conditions before signing. With any computer file you're wiping from a computer, it always says, are you sure you want to do this? I think that's really good arguments. When you buy a house, you have a survey done. If it's riddled with cracks, you do not have to go ahead.
Okay.
Why not ask people?
Just finally then, you've said it's time to get off the fence. Your message to Jeremy Corbyn today?
I would say, look, Jeremy, we've tried and failed, and he knows this as well, because he's our leader. I speak to him, that we have tried, because you can't not try. You can't deny that 17.4 million people voted to leave, although a lot of them went missing because the Farage vote was only 5 point something. So, you know, we need to see if this is still what people wanted. Is the will of the people in 2016 still the will of the people in 2019? Okay. I think we need to put this back to the people. The general public has been frozen out of this for a long time. MPs have made a mess of it. We're all better informed with the impact assessment, so let's do this.
Rupert Huck, Labour MP, thank you for coming in and speaking to us.